This is a great day for North Carolina, where nothing compares. And that's our new motto, NC, nothing compares to North Carolina, to the innovation and entrepreneurial heritage of our state. It is the entrepreneurial spirit that makes this state great, in addition to our quality of life. And one of the things that are important to people's quality of life is the independence that we must have to get to and from needed locations. And that's exactly what we're talking about today, is people's independence and choices that they have, not just here in Charlotte, but throughout North Carolina. And this bill that we're signing today will help ride-sharing companies and the people who use them flourish and be independent. It will also increase safety by requiring background checks for drivers and a comprehensive insurance coverage for cars. When I was mayor of here, this wonderful city, many years ago, not too long ago, but a few years ago, one of the things I dealt with the taxi cab industry was to ensure we had background checks for those who drove taxi cabs. Well, we feel the same way in this new innovative entrepreneurial spirit of now many choices for independent drivers. And that's what we're requiring, is to continue the safety that we have for riders through background checks for drivers and a comprehensive insurance coverage for their cars. This common sense legislation encourages competition, innovation, and also opens the door to individual entrepreneurship. It will help connect North Carolinians to jobs, to health care, to educations, to concerts, to Carolina Panther football games, to Charlotte Hornet basketball games, to NC State football games, East Carolina football games, Appalachian State football games, and the list goes on and on and on. And this is all about people's independence and flexibility. And the more independence we provide people, the more viability and quality of life they'll have in the future. Now, some of the people who benefit from this ride sharing are right here in this room, and I'd like to introduce several of them. One is a person I've got to know upstairs, and she's one of the most engaging people that I've ever met in my life. I mean, I've gotten to hug her several times. Her husband's here. I hope he wasn't getting mad at me, but I hugged her several times. Her name is Rita Reed. Rita, would you please stand for a second just to introduce yourself? Rita, glad to have you here. Just stand right there. Be perfect. Rita is an accomplished artist. She has produced commissioned works for the U.S. Naval Institute, the Coast Guard, the Army Reserves, and NASA. She also taught at CPCC. Unfortunately, her vision has deteriorated due to macular degeneration, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. So today, she is legally blind. But Rita doesn't let her impairment stop her, especially stop her independence. And she has adapted, and undaunted, she has progressed from being a painter of realism today to being a painter of abstract expressionism. And that is just a way we all have to adapt to these changing things that are happening to each one of us. And when her deteriorating vision ultimately took the car keys out of her hand, she literally has few choices now. She has the bus, she has the light rail line, and she has ride sharing. And the more choices that she has means the more choices she has for her independence and continued quality of life and her ability to make a living. And that's what it's all about. So this is why we're doing this, is for wonderful people like this. And there are hundreds upon thousands of people just like her that need this help. I might add, I have a wonderful nephew here who lives in Charlotte, who also has an eye disability and cannot drive a car. And he's just graduated from Harvard MBA school. And I remember when he was 10, 11 years old, living here in Charlotte, he said, he said, Mayor, he said, wherever I move to after college, I'm going to have to move to an area that has mass transit. Well, now he has several choices. He can move to areas that have mass transit, in addition to areas that have ride sharing that make his life more livable. And you wouldn't believe, all ages need this help. So this is who this ride sharing issue is all about. So let's give Rita a round of applause. Thank you very much, Rita. The second person I'd like to introduce is Keith Butler. And if Keith would stand up. Where's Keith? Keith's standing up. Got to see Keith upstairs. He is an Uber military driver and one of Uber's top drivers in Charlotte. He is an entrepreneur. He's an independent entrepreneur, and he's making his living, and which is great because one of the main goals of this administration is to help veterans. When they finish their service and serve both overseas and at our North Carolina camps, where you served at Camp Lejeune. Yes. And one of our goals of this administration is when veterans come back home or after they serve, we want them to get jobs. And that's exactly what Keith is doing. After 4 years of service as a sergeant in the United States Marine Corps, do you want to say something? Oh, thank you. Butler was honorably discharged at Camp Lejeune in 1997. He has lived in Charlotte over the last 12 years and started his partnership with Uber in August 2014 as a part-time driver to supplement his full-time corporate income. I had to do that when I came out of college. I worked for Duke Power, and I also refereed basketball, which helped me supplement my income. I did that for 9 to 10 years, and it helps. We all often have to supplement our income with our current full-time job. And that's exactly what this driving experience allows him and thousands of other people to do throughout North Carolina. Now, after being sadly laid off from his corporate job in October, Keith decided to make Uber a full-time opportunity and occupation. And because of his entrepreneurship and hard work, Keith has now more than replaced the income that he was earning with his other job. So this is the best of Keith's story. His increased financial independence have given him more time with his 2 children as they grow up. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Keith a round of applause for serving our country and being an entrepreneur. Again, this is a great day for North Carolina, and I want to thank a lot of the people who made this happen. And we have people in the audience who helped make this happen, but the 2 people to my right were real leaders of this effort in a bipartisan way. And that's Senator Floyd McKissick. Floyd, it's great to have you here. He came all the way from Durham, he's a good friend. Let's give Floyd a warm Charlotte welcome. We also want to congratulate Senator Bill Rabin from Wilmington, who also played a role in this bill. Representative Jason Sain, who's just doing outstanding work in the House of Representatives. And Matthew's zone, and very good friend of mine, Bill Brawley, who's also been a big leader of this effort in the House of Representatives. I call him my Dick Cheney. And he was a friend of mine when I was mayor of Charlotte, and he continues to be a great partner as a governor of this great state of North Carolina. So I just want to let you know that I'm proud to sign this bill for jobs, for independence, for freedom, and for entrepreneurship. And that's the best of North Carolina, and nothing compares to North Carolina. It's just great to be here. And I'd like to also introduce come on up here. City Council member, come on up here. Claire. Claire, I want you to say a few words too, because I want you to say how good this is my favorite city council member. She used to give me more grief as mayor, and I loved her for it. She was a bulldog. I called her the mayor of North Charlotte when I was mayor. But Claire, give us a little talk about how good this is for cities and towns throughout North Carolina.
I think that what we've done and what you've done has made it safer and more secure for people. And I just want to thank Bill Brawley and Senator. We worked across the aisle, and everybody says we don't get along, and I want to tell you something. Working across the aisle, Democrat to Republican, was wonderful. It shows we do get along for the good of this state.
Great. Thank you. So Claire, stay behind here. I'd like to invite both of our special guests also, if they could get up here behind here, so we sign this bill. If you don't mind, Bob, we'd love to have you here too. We've got a couple more pens. If we could help.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Right here.
Okay,
There's a chair right in front of you.
okay, thank you.
I'm gonna give you the first pen.
Thank you. Thank you.
And to a great employee of Uber, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
To a great center, thank you very much. Appreciate glad to have you here too. What's the date today?
Fourth.
Already. We're at Labor Day weekend.
Primary day.
Claire, thank you for your leadership. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Bob? Thank you, buddy.
Thank you,
Never
sir.
thought you'd be getting a pin from me one day, did you? Did I get it to the employee here?
Yes, you did.
Anyone else? That's it. Thank you.
Send one to sign it, right?
Yeah, I got one for Rayburn and Saint also, Senator Rabin and Representative Saint. Thank you all very much. It's been an honor, and this is good news for all of North Carolina. Thank you, and God bless each one of you. Thank you.